gentlewoman from West Virginia is recognized, or the gentleman the gentleman from West Virginia is the ranking member of the subcommittee. Is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'd like to thank you and the ranking member for, well, first of all, thank Chairman Frank for the debate that we had in July and for honoring my request that we have this meeting here with Commissioner Stevens today. So thank you, Commissioner, for coming. Without repeating a lot of what we already know, almost a year ago, the FHA presented to Congress an independent actuarial report on the health of the Mutual Mortgage Insurance Fund. I think we were all a little stunned. We were surprised to learn that the reserves had fallen well below the mandated 2%. But since that hearing, we've worked in good faith, I think, together to present common sense ideas to help reform the FHA. As we know, the result of this was the introduction of 4811, the FHA Safety and Soundness and Taxpayer Protection Act of 2010, which includes a lot of the reforms, much-needed reforms, enforcement, fiscal and risk assessment tools, detection of fraud and abuse, and strengthening underwriting standards. A majority of these reforms were included in H.R. 5072, which passed overwhelmingly in the House. One of the centerpieces of this was the ability for FHA to increase the annual premium, which was then signed into law, taken out separately and signed into law in July. But I would urge my colleagues in the Senate to move forward with further consideration of the reforms that we have. I look forward to hearing from Commissioner Stevens today about the progress of the changes FHA has already implemented to shore up the fund and to begin reducing FHA's market share. Some estimates show that the federal government accounts for over 95% of the mortgage market, with FHA making up 30% of that on its own. We must find solutions to restore a healthy and vibrant private market if our economy, I believe, is going to function properly. FHA does have a role to play in the mortgage market, but its presence should not be this large. What steps should we take to encourage private capital back into the market? FHA is currently able to insure loans up to $750,000 in high-cost areas. The limits for conforming loans are similar, are higher loan limits and an impediment to private market participation. I hope that's a question we can get into today. Finally, as Ranking Member Baucus mentioned in his statement, FHA has implemented several new programs designed to assist homeowners facing foreclosure and borrowers where mortgage principal exceeds the value of their homes and to reduce the number of foreclosed properties in the FHA portfolio. These use TARP funds and neighborhood stabilization programs. Concerns have been raised, I have raised concerns as well, that these new programs will invite the same types of fraud, abuse, and poor underwriting practices that led to the current housing crisis, while also increasing taxpayer exposure. It would be interesting to hear your thoughts on these new programs, specifically on the concerns that have been raised. And just additionally, I'd like to say one of the reasons that I felt this hearing was so important is because in July, when we moved forward with the reforms on the premium, on how to FHA to assess the premiums, I had the feeling that it was, you know, our backs were up against the wall. We were in a situation where we needed to act in July because waiting until September or October was going to put FHA in a bit of a precarious position, and that raised a major red flag for me, because if in 2 months we're going to get to that, you know, if in 2 months we were going to reach that level of, I don't want to say crisis, but concern, that concerns me as to what the status of this is and where we're moving forward. So I appreciate you coming today, and I again appreciate the chairman calling this meeting. Thank you.